Hi, my name is Kojo Blavo, and I'm the CEO of Translingua Solutions Limited. We are a language solutions company. That means we offer language services, including translation, transcription, interpretation, subtitling, and what have you. So, I'd like to start by asking you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Basically, I'm here today to talk about the subject I treated in the article I wrote on our website. That's translinguasolutions.com. We have a blog on there, and I wrote an article on 10 things to know when you want to be a translator. So I'd like you to go onto there. I've provided the link to the article on the website in the description section below. I'm going to talk about it today. That way it will be clearer and it will be easier for those of you who don't want to read. So here we go. The topic is the things to know before becoming a translator. I went to the Ghana Institute of Languages. It's true I learned a lot of stuff in school, but there's also so much that I wasn't able to learn in school. And there's so much that I wish somebody had told me before I actually started schooling or I started working as a translator. We're going to try and make things easier for you by telling you these things that you need to know. That way it will help you in your decision-making process. All right, so let's go. So as you can see on the first slide, you're supposed to translate the spirit of the text, okay? You're supposed to translate the ideas that the writer is trying to put across, not the words. Because when you go word for word, you're bound to meet some words that you don't know, and it's going to pose a problem for you to be able to translate. So always remember this. Try and capture the ideas. Translate the spirit of the text and not its form. So, tip number two was to be concise. Try to be as concise as possible. So you need not ramble on and on with superfluous words just to make people know that you have an A-level grade knowledge of vocabulary. That is not necessary. Try and keep it as simple as possible, and respect, like we said earlier, respect the ideas and meaning the writer was trying to convey. That is basically what you want to do. Remember this adage: simple gets the job done. Simple gets the job done. Good. So tip number three, mastery of your first language. You need to really have a perfect knowledge of your first language, a perfect command of your first language. Your first language is usually what we call the language A. Language A is usually your mother tongue, the language that you've been speaking for the longest time since you were a child. That's your language A. So you need to have a perfect command of that language to be able to do translation. Also, you need to have an excellent knowledge of at least one other language, which of course is your language B. So for me, my first language is English and my second language is French. So I speak fluently both English and French. So as to be a translator, you want to be able to speak both languages fluently. You want to have a perfect command of your language A and then an excellent knowledge of your language B. And of course, if you can have good knowledge of a third language, that's your language C, that's all the better, okay? You can start learning a third language, because to be able to be amongst the creme de la creme, the top translators out there, it's good to have at least 3 languages. So try to start learning a third language if you don't already know it. And if you have a third language, try and improve your knowledge of it. Try and get better at it, because the more you master your 3 languages, the better it is going to be for you. You need to have flawless grammar, especially in your language A. That's the language you usually translate to. So as a translator, what you usually do is you translate from your language B into your language A, okay? That is the best practice for translation. Yeah. So you need to have flawless grammar in your language A, like I said. You need to have excellent grammar in your language B, and then if you can, your language C can be equally good, all the better. You need also to be an avid reader if you want your grammar to improve. So back in the days, they used to say you should read as many books as possible, books, magazines, stuff like that. But these days, everything is on the net. As a translator, you need to be able to master all sorts of topics, subject areas, because you can receive translations in a medical field, you can receive translations from construction or what have you, and you need to know a lot about these fields. So be an avid reader. Try to read as much as possible on your own. Go onto the net, look for stuff to read, get interested in stuff, and yeah, try and get as much in as possible, so that when you get your translations, you'll be able to master them and you will know what you're talking about. So that was tip 4. Tip 5 is specialization is key. Now, this might seem like the total antithesis of what I said before about reading wide and everything, but yeah, you need to try and specialize, because what you quickly notice is that a lot of translators use the same language pair as you do. So in order to be different from the rest of the people, the rest of the translators out there, you need to master at least 1 or 2 fields. So for example, you might want to master the medical field, or you might want to master the law field, know a lot of vocabulary from these fields, so that you'll be, in French we say incollable. Nobody can get you to make a mistake in these fields. You are a total master of these fields, and you are able to translate perfectly in these fields. That is what you need to do, because LSCs are currently hiring in specific fields. They want people who master certain fields to be able to give the translations to them when it comes, so that they know that you are master that particular field, you are in charge of that field, and you are not a jack of all trades and master of none, so to speak. So try and specialize, because this gives confidence to LSCs. Now, tip number 6, the ability to do research. So you might remember when you were in college, you had your project work, your end of year project work, end of school project work, and you did a lot of research online to be able to finish your project work. And you thought, hey, it's over, I'm not going to do this anymore. Well, wrong. You are going to do this as a translator. You're going to keep doing research, and you need to love doing research to be able to be a good translator, okay? So there might be some technical terms you might not know, like we have acronyms, for example. There are acronyms out there that you might not be familiar with. You need to be able to do your research online to be able to find these acronyms and their equivalents in the language you are translating to. So you probably need to build multilingual glossaries and translation memories from scratch if you want to be a good translator. And if you don't have the luck of being in an LSC already that owns its glossaries and translation memories, you probably need to build everything from scratch. So you need to have the love to be able to do research. You need to love doing research. I can't stress that enough. It's like one of those MOs of being a translator, okay? You need to love doing research. Tip number 7, you need to have the ability to work under pressure as a translator. So, as a translator, you almost always work under the pressure of time constraints. Almost always have to work under time constraints. And you have to work, clients always give tight deadlines. Well, not always, but almost always. You always have a tight deadline that you have to meet, and it can be challenging. But the whole craft of a translator is to be able to meet that tight deadline and produce quality work. That is your whole craft. That is what you have to be able to do as a translator. And it can be challenging in the beginning, but as you go, you learn to be able to manage these time constraints. Now, what some translators like to do is to share the work amongst their colleagues, so that they work on different sections. This helps the work to be done faster. But always remember that if you do that, you're going to have to split the pie several ways when it's baked. So always keep that in mind. So tip number 8, don't rely blindly on machine translation. Never, never, never. Now this is a no-no. So you might have just started translating, you might have just graduated from translation school, and you want the easy way out. So somebody sends you a translation contract, and you stick the whole text into Google Translate, and it translates it for you. You click on the translate button, and it clicks it and it translates for you. And you get the text, the translated text. You stick it onto your translated document, and you send it directly to your client, thinking the machine has done a good job. It's a machine, so it's definitely going to be good. No, it's not good. It's not a good practice at all, because no matter what the progress we've been able to make in AI, artificial intelligence, and machine translation and stuff, a machine can never be able to master the little nuances in words due to context, okay? They haven't been able to master that yet. Let me not say never. They haven't been able to master that yet. So a machine will always need a human being to be able to work with it to produce a good translation. But a machine can never replace a translator, at least not yet, to the best of my knowledge, not yet. So you need to, if you're going to do Google Translate, which I don't recommend, you will need to proofread it before you submit it to your client. So tip number 9, use CAT tools. So CAT tools are computer assisted translation tools, okay? So there are programs, softwares, which help you be able to translate easier. So what you need to know is that CAT tools help get the work done faster. CAT tools help get the work done more consistently, and CAT tools help get the work done more efficiently. You might be an older translator and you might be used to translating off the top of your head, okay? Because CAT tools probably didn't exist back in the day, or were too expensive, or whatever, for whatever reason it was. But you might be used to doing translation off the top of your head. Well, know this, CAT tools are going to help you get the job done even better, okay? Because, for example, you have translation memories, which you can use consistently over different translation projects from the same client, which have to do with the same thing, okay? So translation memories are going to use the same words that you used in previous translations. That way there's a sort of consistency across translations that you do. So this is just one example of how CAT tools help you. They also get the work done faster because some sections which you have already translated in a CAT tool just get translated automatically, okay? They get translated automatically, and all you need to do is to validate it before you keep on translating. So CAT tools, I can't stress that enough. They're good for you. Learn to use them because they're going to help save your life. And our final tip for today is an old adage which you might have heard before. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's in storybooks and stuff. Make hay while the sun shines. So one thing you need to know is that translation is one of those tricky professional areas where when you begin, you might not have as many contacts as some of the senior professionals. So it's difficult to find contracts in between. You might have a contract in January, and your next contract is going to be in March. And throughout that period, you haven't had any contract. These situations sometimes are not easy to handle. And you might be asking yourself if you actually made the right choice in choosing this profession. Well, know this. You need to be able to manage your money well. So when you get money, because translation can be quite lucrative, okay? You might get a big contract of 100 pages, 100 plus pages, and you might hit a lot of money at a go, but you need to learn to manage this money well. Don't spend it like a spendthrift. Take your time and spend your money wisely, because you don't know when your next contract is going to come. So you manage your money wisely, little by little. You get used to that kind of routine until you start getting the big contracts more and more regularly. And then at that point, you're a main man, so you don't have any issues. But whatever you do, you need to remember that old adage: make hay while the sun shines. So that's it basically for today. Those are the 10 tips that we at Translingua Solutions have for you to be able to become a good translator. You see, there are so many things that are taught in school, but others are not, and you need to be able to learn them on the field. So we're going to save you a lot of aimless running around with these tips. I hope you find them useful. On this slide here, you can find our contact information, okay? So our telephone number is +233. If you use a +23, you don't need a 0. So 20-668-1770 or +233-2462-5245. Our website is www.translinguasolutions.com. Our email address is info@translinguasolutions.com. Our social media handles are Translingua Solutions for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on YouTube, which you're watching anyway, it's Translingua Solutions, okay? Like I said, I'm going to leave the URL for our website in the description below, so you can log on to there and read the article, the blog post that was made on our website, okay? So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more content coming. And I promise you it's going to be interesting on our YouTube page. Like I said, my name is Kojo Blavo. I'm glad if I've been able to help you, assist you, give you some knowledge. I'll be coming your way with more. And so have a nice day, have a great day, and remember, you are blessed.